On behalf of our presiding official, the Commander, Air Force Manpower Analysis Agency, Colonel Robert S. Jackson, Jr., welcome to the Inactivation Ceremony, where we will witness the inactivation of the 3rd Manpower Requirements Squadron, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Christopher B. Basham. I am Mr. Roger Kearns, your narrator for today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party, the singing of our national anthem, and remain standing for the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to join me in prayer. Almighty God, as we gather this morning, we are thankful for those who serve our nation. We are grateful for airmen, fellow service members, and Americans everywhere who stand to protect our nation's liberties and freedoms. And this morning, we are especially grateful for those who have served in the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron. I ask you to especially bless Lieutenant Colonel Basham during this time. Be with him and his loved ones. And as we gather today to pay tribute to honor the hard work that has been accomplished in this squadron, we also remember each individual who has served in it. Ask your special blessing on them as well. As we inactivate the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron today, we are thankful for its heritage and the importance of what every member in this organization has done to maintain the freedom that our country values. Therefore, may this ceremony help us to rededicate ourselves to the greater mission at hand, to help those who are embarking on another phase in their careers and lives, and also to carry on the legacy of honor that has been established here. This I ask. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Airman Murphy and Chaplain Sears. It is our distinct pleasure to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guests here today. The wife of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron Commander, Mrs. Bonnie Basham, and their children, Colby, Carter, and Ellie. With us also is the Vice Commander, 375th Air Mobility Wing, Colonel Chris Busher. The Chief Enlisted Manager, from the Air Force Manpower Analysis Agency, Chief Master Sergeant Monique Slater. And our guidon bearer for today's ceremony is the Superintendent, 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron, Senior Master Sergeant Stephen Holdenreid. Finally, we welcome all leaders, co-workers, alumni, friends, and members of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron. The 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron was originally constituted as an Air Force Communications Computer Management Engineering team on the 11th of December 1990 and activated on the 16th of January in 1991 on Scott Air Force Base, Illinois. The MET was inactivated on 27 July 1994, redesignated on 13 October 2005, and activated on 13 October 2005 as the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron. The 3rd is one of 5 squadrons assigned to the Air Force Manpower Analysis Agency located at Joint Base San Antonio, Randolph, Texas. Its primary mission has been to provide Air Force leaders with the necessary tools to effectively and efficiently manage manpower resources for the accomplishment of the Air Force mission. The squadron has been responsible for defining manpower requirements for major commands such as Air Mobility Command, Air Force Special Operations Command, as well as functional areas to include aerial port operations, communications, mobility maintenance squadrons, and mobility aircraft maintenance. The unit has also contributed to the joint mission by assessing manpower requirements for United States Transportation Command. Finally, the 3rd has not only shaped the future of the Air Force in joint functions, but its members as well. Since its activation, many members of the 3rd have gone on to serve as enlisted leaders in the manpower career field, including 5 Chief Master Sergeants: Chief Master Sergeant Ken Byer, Chief Master Sergeant Jeremy Krummenauer, Chief Master Sergeant retired David Dock, and Chief Master Sergeant retired Joseph Moore, and Chief Master Sergeant Select Kendrick Jones. The efforts of these individuals and all previous members culminated in the unit's reception of the Air Force Organizational Excellence Award in 1992, 2006, and 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our presiding official of today, the Commander, Air Force Manpower Analysis Agency, Colonel Robert Jackson.
And good morning. Thank you. Colonel Busher, good morning. Thanks for taking time out to come. Mr. Monlow, good to see you this morning as well. Thanks for taking time to attend the ceremony. Other distinguished guests, and members of Scott Air Force Base community. Oh, Tori, I did not see you. Glad you could make it as well, too. Certainly glad to see you this morning. Thank you for taking time to attend the important occasion. And I'd offer a special good morning to Colonel Bassham, his wife Bonnie, and their family, and the men and women of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron. Today, the men and women of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron say goodbye to their commander, Lieutenant Colonel Bassham, as he relinquishes command, and the manpower community marks yet another significant period of change with the inactivation of your own squadron. Most of us have heard the phrase that nothing is as constant as change, and we are all testament to that. The Air Force Manpower Analysis Agency, with its many organizational iterations over the past 40 years, is a testament to that. AFMA, AFCUME, AFMA, AFMEA, AFPC, MA, and we stand today enacting the results of a recent decision to change and to make tough resources decisions within our own house. As we ceremoniously furl the flag of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron today, each of you in attendance needs to take away, especially those that have been or are assigned to the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron, is that the Air Force's decision is in no way a reflection of the caliber of the personnel assigned to this unit, nor the value of their work to the United States Air Force. As you heard in the reading of the unit's history, the squadron has a lineage of organizational excellence originating from the Air Force Communications Manpower Management Engineering Team, developing manpower tools for critical Air Force communications functions. Although the unit's portfolio has changed over nearly 26 years, and with the activation of the Manpower Requirement Squadron, these things have endured. The unit has produced the tools needed to facilitate Air Force senior leadership, critical resource decisions, as well as the reputation that you all have so rightfully earned as an outstanding unit. Under Colonel Bassham's leadership, the squadron charged out to develop 35 manpower models, right-sizing resources worth $780 million across myriad air mobility command functions, maintenance functions, and communications functions across our Air Force. He and his squadron provided critical support to Headquarters U.S. Transcom, covering nearly 800 joint manpower requirements. Additionally, to the 3rd team's credit, they had an opportunity to write the Kentucky windage that some young captain performed by the name of Rob Jackson back in 1992 in standing up the AMC Tanker Airlift Control Center. They corrected the boss's work. So I thank y'all sincerely for that effort. We'll be sorry to lose Colonel Bassham, as he has been an exceptional leader on an AFMA team in both steady and challenging times. Unfortunately, during his tenure, tragedy befell the squadron, with the loss of a stellar airman, family man, wingman, and friend in Master Sergeant Greg Cousy. His spirit will live in each of us as we go our various ways as we depart today. It was a sobering reminder at that time, in the profession of arms, we may be called at any time to give our last full measure of devotion. Brian and Bonnie, I thank you all, and in my opinion, should be a recruiting poster for the Air Force family. I said that to you a long time ago. They led from the front, taking care of airmen and their families always, but especially during a time of loss. Caring for airmen is one of the reasons the AMC commander hand-selected them as a team to mentor and prepare new commanders and spouses to be successful. Brian, you're departing the Manpower family. However, I expect that in your next assignment, you'll continue to provide critical analysis to our Air Force needs as a leader on the AMC's A9 staff. I thank you for your leadership, and I wish you and Bonnie continued success. There's no doubt that the strength of the world's greatest Air Force is in its most important weapons system. Dedicated airmen of all categories who strive for excellence in all that they do. To the men and women of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron, past and present, and throughout the years, you have exemplified that and lived the squadron's motto while you were charging ahead and accomplishing your mission, shaping the future today. I expect nothing but excellence in the coming years from Brian, your family, and the personnel of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron in your various endeavors. I thank you sincerely for all that you have done for the Manpower Analysis Agency, the Manpower Enterprise, and our Air Force. As you depart this unit and remain in the service, I salute each of you and bid you Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal to Lieutenant Colonel Bassham. Attention to orders. This is to certify that Lieutenant Colonel Christopher B. Bassham has been awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, 4th Oak Leaf Cluster, for meritorious service from 9 June 2014 to 28 July 2016. Lieutenant Colonel Christopher B. Bassham distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron, Air Force Manpower Analysis Agency, Scott Air Force Base, Illinois. During this period, Colonel Bassham led progress on 35 manpower determinant efforts affecting $780 million in assets across air mobility planning, aerial port, logistics readiness, aircraft maintenance, and communications work centers. Under his command, the unit concluded its efforts supporting the Tanker Airlift Control Center, finalizing 7 manpower assessments covering 628 billets responsible for the planning and execution of all air mobility missions. Colonel Bassham oversaw the completion of 2 aircraft maintenance enterprise impact assessments, providing critical logistics composite model insights for the Secretary of the Air Force directed Repair Network Initiative review. He supported the resource management needs of the Commander, United States Transportation Command, by championing 9 manpower assessments, auditing the workload associated with 779 joint authorizations. His leadership culminated in 1 officer training school selectee, 9 individual higher headquarters level award wins, and 1 team major command level award win. These singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Bassham reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Please welcome the commander of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Bassham, as he addresses his squadron one last time.
Thank you, Roger. First off, I'd like to thank everyone for being here. For this proud unit, this is a significant emotional event. It's good that we share this together, and we appreciate your presence. First off, I'd like to offer very special thanks to Colonel Jackson, Chief Slater, Admiral Leadership for being here, and we appreciate your busy schedule, operating a sea of change, many spinning plates. So your presence here and your leadership through that, through multiple fronts, is very appreciated, sir. I think you profusely for this opportunity to command, and I took it very seriously. And I love everything, so I appreciate it. Colonel Busher, please accept our tremendous thanks for what the wing does for us, for Colonel Linderman, Chief Mathias, and all the folks. Everything from our facilities to our equipment that we use. It's no small feat. So one thing I'm not doing right now, we are not doing, is boxing up laptops and sending them forward. They stay here, so as we reassign, we take those laptops with us. We appreciate that. And I would be remiss if we didn't thank you for the core support squadron and the outstanding support they gave us with Master Sergeant Coos passing. The mortuary repair team is outstanding. Lieutenant Colonel Calder is fantastic. They are, in my opinion, I've shared this in other venues, they're superstars, and they receive all of our thanks and praise. So thank you very much. To the Manpower community that's here, A1M, the Joint Team Transcom, it is like a family, and that's kind of the theme of my talk today, is really thanks and just that family nature that we cultivated here. So we appreciate your presence. To my family, I thank you so much. Bonnie is my bedrock. She is my, so helpful to me. She's very precious to me. And it's so good every once in a while to have someone that says, no, don't do that. That's fine. So I appreciate that. You have to have that. That's part of the family experience. And the kiddos, they woke up early to be here. So we're missing honestly, but I appreciate that you're here. They supported you. And our extended 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron family, Master Sergeant retired Tori Coos. So happy. You are a treasured guest here and a part of our family. We're so happy to see you here. And, so now to the 3rd. So part of that vision that we adopted, that identity, a phrase I adopted here and kind of had us think about was a tenacious team of manpower professionals. Right? So I know you've heard that before, and that wasn't something I was trying to shape you into. That was something you already were. I was just reminding you of that. So your tenacity, not taking no at the first answer, not accepting that first layer of answers, digging deep, uncovering things under the rocks, that's what you do for a living. And my charge to you is whatever you do as we close this chapter on the 3rd, whatever you do from here on out, you embrace that tenacity and being the team. So that team, or even really closer to being a family, is what we operated under a sea of change, a sea of uncertainty, and I appreciate that. You made this job very, very easy. One of my claims to fame, I'll say, and I'm proud to say it, I've never had to stand up at a status of discipline meeting. That is phenomenal. You're good folks, and I appreciate that. That is no small thing. But I appreciate what you mean to each other. And as manpower professionals, you take your job very seriously. Thank you for welcoming me into this community. I was not anywhere near manpower, not a 38P by trade. I was 61 Alpha, an ops research analyst. So I thank you for welcoming me into this community and explaining what you do for a living. I'm better having known what you do and better appreciate your impact on the Air Force. And you should take pride in that. It is a relatively thankless job because manpower is an emotional resource, right? And you know that. So you understand how things work. But that professionalism, being those manpower professionals, that's what we need, and that's what we got from you. You have a seemingly unending well of patience, and I appreciate that. Thank you again. I've shared this with you, team. Thank you for trusting me and trusting my leadership. my style, my idiosyncrasies, my weaknesses. I appreciate that. And it was an honor to serve with you. It was an honor to lead you through these times, and I wish you nothing but the best. I have one request. For those, if you were here throughout the 10 years from from the beginning to the end, would you mind standing if you were here for doing that? I appreciate that. Let's give these folks a round of applause. Please be seated. And so again, just in conclusion, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a wonderful team. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for my experiences here being wonderful, and I wish you nothing but the best. And with that, I'll wish you on Mr. Terms. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Bassam. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for Lieutenant Colonel Bassam's official relinquishment of command of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron and the casing of the squadron flag.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force, Headquarters, Washington, D.C. Special Order Number GS-01, dated 8 June 2016, and effective 1 September 2016. The 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron, located at Scott Air Force Base, Illinois, is inactivated in accordance with Air Force Instruction 38101.
Sir, I relinquish command.
Mr. McCoy, would you please come forward? Mr. Donald McCoy is a founding member of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron and is one of only 6 members who have served the squadron for its entire duration. Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. You're invited to remain for refreshments in the back of the room. Thank you and have a great Air Force Day.